Have you ever heard of the Bermuda Triangle? If you don't know it yet, follow me, and I'll tell you. Also known as the Bermuda Triangle. It is known as the Devil's Triangle. It is one of the most mysterious places on the planet. There are dozens of stories about missing ships and planes, and they are always surrounded by mysteries. The first reports of strange things happening in the Bermuda Triangle dates back to Christopher Columbus' first voyage to America. In 1492, Columbus reports compass and light failures at sea, as well as objects falling from the sky. Till the date, more than 50 boats and 20 planes disappeared in that area. Some were never heard from again. And others, such as the French ship Rosalíe and the ship Mary Celeste, were found with no trace of the crew. Since then, many boaters fear traveling through this region where dozens of shipwrecks and accidents have occurred, including the shipwreck suffered by the Spanish navigator Juan Bermudez in 1503, which gave its name to the archipelago. But it was during World War II that the world finally became aware of these mysteries, after the disappearance of a squadron of 5 North American bombers known as Flight 19. This region was renamed the Bermuda Triangle. Other names were also given to the place, such as Devil's Sea, Cursed Triangle, Triangle of Death, Sea of Lost Ships, Boat Graveyard, and the Devil's Triangle. There are numerous reported cases of disappearances, shipwrecks, accidents, and even appearances of boats and other phenomena. In this video, I will only mention the most famous ones. Year 1840. The French ship Rosalíe was found months after her disappearance. She sailed with sails furled and cargo intact, but with no sign of her crew. Year 1807. The boat Mary Celeste disappeared in November, with 10 crew on board. The boat was found in December of the same year without any trace of its crew. Year 1902. The German ship Freya was missing for a day. She left Cuba on October 3rd and was found the next day in the same place where she had left. However, without a single person on board, the entire crew disappeared. Year 1918. The Cyclops ship, loaded with 19,000 tons of supplies for the North American Navy. She had 309 people on board. She disappeared with crew and cargo on March 4th in calm seas. Without issuing a warning, not even with a radio, she left Rio de Janeiro on February 16th, after a brief stop in Barbados between March 3rd and 4th. She was never seen again. The 306 people disappeared without a trace. Year 1945. 5 U.S. Navy bombers took off from Fort Lauderdale in Florida and disappeared with 14 crew members. The incident became known as Flight 19 Air Traffic Control Number. Closing parenthesis. The case made the region world famous as a site of mysterious disappearances. Year 1967. The Witchcraft ship disappeared on December 24, 1967. Considered one of the most extraordinary cases in the Triangle. It was a ship that carried out maritime cruises. The ship was tied to a buoy off the port of Miami, Florida, about 1,600 meters from the coast. She simply disappeared with her crew and a passenger on board. Year 1999. The cargo ship Genesis sank after leaving the port of Salvicente. Her cargo included 465 tons of water tanks, planks, concrete, and bricks. Through the radio, problems with a bomb were reported shortly before contact was lost. An unsuccessful search was carried out in an area of 85,000 square kilometers, but without success. The most recent was in January 2021. Florida Coast Guard made an announcement declaring that a ship who was traveling to Florida had disappeared after leaving the Bahamas the previous day. After 84 hours of intense research, the search was suspended without finding any trace of the ship or its crew. Between the 1960s and 1970s, many researchers, journalists, and disaster survivors, they created several theories about the events in the Bermuda Triangle, but without being able to reach a definitive conclusion. That explains so many accidents and disappearances. Since the age of discovery, the sailors who passed through the triangle, they already knew that this was an area where large storms and intense meteorological phenomena formed, which meant that many ships could not reach or return to their destination. What's happening in this place? There are many theories that try to explain these mysteries. Some people have used some supernatural concepts to explain the events of the triangle. One explanation is the supposed technology of the lost continent of Atlantis. This story is sometimes related to the submerged rock formation known as Bimini Road, near the island of Bimini in the Bahamas, which is in the triangle in some cases. Followers of Edgar Cayce predicted that evidence of Atlantis would be found in 1968, referring to the discovery of Bimini Road. Some describe training as a path, a wall, or other structure, although geologists consider it to be of natural origin. Others attributed the events to UFOs. This idea was used by Steven Spielberg in his science fiction film, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which shows the crew of Flight 19 as human abductees, while others believe in abnormal phenomena such as an anomaly or unexplained forces. Scientists, on the other hand, believe in natural explanations. For example, variations in compasses. Problems with compasses are one of the most cited in several triangle incidents, since the Bermuda Triangle is one of two places on Earth where compasses point true north and not towards magnetic north, while others theorize that there are local magnetic anomalies unusual in this area. Another theory is deliberate acts of destruction, which can be classified into two categories: acts of war and piracy. Enemy archive records have been checked for numerous losses, although several sinkings have been attributed to surface raiders or submarines during the World Wars and have been documented in the various record books. Many other suspected sinkings were not proven. It is suspected that the loss of the USS Cyclops in 1918, as well as her brother's ships Proteus and Nereus in World War II, it may have been caused by submarines, but no evidence was found in German records. Piracy, which is defined as the seizure of a ship or small craft on the high seas. It is an act that continues to this day, while piracy of hijacked cargo ships is most common in the Western Pacific and Indian Oceans. Drug trafficking causes the theft of boats for smuggling operations, which could have been the case of the disappearances of crew members and yachts in the Caribbean. Piracy in the Caribbean was common from 1560 to 1760, including famous pirates such as Edward Teach Blackbird and Jean Luffett. The Gulf Stream is an ocean current that originates in the Gulf of Mexico and then passes through the Straits of Florida, heading to the North Atlantic. In essence, it is a river within the ocean, and like a river, it can and does transport floating objects, texto padro, a small plane making a landing on the water, or a boat having engine problems will be carried away from the reported position by the current, as happened with a cruise ship called Witchcraft on December 22, 1967, when an engine problem was reported near a buoy marker 1 mile (1.6 kilometers) offshore. But the boat was not there when the Coast Guard arrived. Another reason could be hurricanes. Hurricanes are powerful storms generated in tropical waters and have historically been responsible for thousands of lives lost and billions of dollars in damage. The sinking of the Spanish fleet Francisco de Bobadilla in 1502 was the first record of a destructive hurricane. These storms have caused several incidents related to the triangle in the past. Giant waves have caused ships to sink and oil platforms to collapse. These waves are considered a mystery and until recently were believed to be a myth. However, giant waves do not explain the loss of planes. And you? Do you believe the scientists' explanations? Or do you think there really could be something supernatural in this region? Leave your opinion in the comments.